The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Skagway, Alaska, on your new fire apparatus, job number 30020. Please utilize this job number when referencing your new vehicle with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started with a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Here are a couple images of the sides and rear section of your new apparatus. We'll go ahead and start with some of those individual components in the next set of images. Let's go ahead and start with the front bumper or the front portion of your vehicle. Starting in the lower section, you have two tow hooks on the right and left in the center. On the left, you have T31 unit identifier. To the driver's side, your electronic siren and PA control. Moving up onto the body itself, you'll find your high and low beam headlights. Moving just to the side, turn indicator forward facing. Located in the very center in the grille, you'll find two forward-facing emergency lights. Up onto the fender, a turn indicator. Moving further up on the right and left, you have dual mirrors, lower section being convex, upper section being flat, and at the very top, your emergency warning light bar. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those items. Once again, here's that code 3 electronic siren. Headlight cluster and turn indicator. Moving to the grille area, you'll find the Pierce logo in addition with the emergency warning lights. Overhead section here, looking at your top of the apparatus, code 3 lights and also driving lights. Lower section, looking at the tow hooks. Here's a shot of your department name, logo, let's go ahead and take a look at the side of the apparatus. On the side front fender, you'll find an emergency warning light. On the very top section, you'll find your turn arrow indicator. At the very top, you'll find this opening. This is an air opening for your engine. To access the hood, go ahead and release both of the mechanisms on the right and left. Once they've been released in this fashion here, go to the center of the apparatus in the front, single pull just where the arrow is pointing. There is a handle here. Pull forward away from the front of the vehicle, allowing the hood to move to the upward position, accessing the engine. Let's talk about some of the components here. As you can see, you have in yellow, this is your oil dipstick. In addition, in red, the transmission, windshield wiper fluid fill, power steering fluid fill location. Moving up, you can see the air canister, in addition with the oil add location. You're going to find the radiator fill location on the passenger side. Up onto the firewall, you'll find additional lighting, push-on, push-off white lights. Let's go ahead and cover some of the items here on the side of the vehicle. Once again, just as a review, side-facing emergency warning light. On the very top, this is going to be your turn indicator. Moving further up, this is that air location to allow air induction into the engine. This is the location for the latches on the left as it is on the right side. You have undermounted perimeter lighting. There are also step lighting. On the left, you'll find the blue cap, which is your DEF fill location. In the silver in the center, you'll find your diesel fill, low sulfur emissions diesel fill. You'll find an air chuck, work lights, your shoreline inlet auto eject plug, You'll find locking door latches, which are keyed, in addition with an easy access grab handle. Let's go ahead and take a look at those a little bit closer up of some of those images. Let's start with the mirrors. Lower section is going to be convex, the upper section is flat. Moving further down, this is the handle with the keyed mechanism. Generalized view here, the opposite side of the vehicle is almost identical. Once again, lower step lights. This is the passenger side of the vehicle. Underneath the passenger side of the vehicle, you'll also find perimeter lighting. We're back onto the driver's side. Just a general view here of the step and tank area. We'll cover some of those items. Shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug. This is going to be your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel down at the very bottom. As you can see with the plug open, requiring a specialized plug. Blue cap, DEF, your air inlet for your air brakes. Moving over once again, silver cap for your diesel fill only. Just a quick images with those lights on. Once again, step and easy access for filling of your diesel and also DEF. Lower section, ground level, perimeter lighting. Let's go ahead and start in this upper corner here, midsection of your apparatus. We'll start first with the two cross lays in the upper left-hand corner. First cross lay number 1 in yellow, cross lay number 2 in white. With the grab handle, just on the opposite side, you'll find a telescoping light. To access that light, there is a tightening knob here or loosening to loosen to allow it to telescope. Once it telescopes, moved in position, there is also an additional tilt up or down with an adjustment knob. As we look at the light currently in its side facing, you can see that knob in addition with the tilt knob also. As we look, there's also a top handle. Here it is in its extended position. We're now going to go ahead and start with the pump panel, starting with the upper left-hand corner. This is going to be your maintenance requirements for 150, 200, and 250 PSI for the RPMs and the PSI. Well, here is going to be your TPG. This is your throttle pressure governor. Moving to the right, you'll find the panel gauge heater, which is automatic. There are indicator lights on it. Moving down to the right once again, this is that panel gauge heater, red light indicating the heater is on. Down at the far right-hand side of your pump, you'll find panel light, pump engaged, which is an indicator, and also your compartment heat. This is an audible alarm speaker, which is adjustable. Moving just to the left, you'll find your transmission. This is an amber indicator for you to check your transmission if lit. Just beneath that, you'll find vacuum and pressure test ports, currently plugged. And to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. Moving down, we're going to find in yellow, this is your number 1 crosslay, which we previously indicated. Your number 2 crosslay is going to be white color coded. And as we move further down, you'll find number 1 driver's side discharge in red, and you can see it just beneath that lever. And the number 2 passenger side, and then number 3 driver side. As you can see, the even numbers are on the passenger side and odd are on the driver side. This is that engine cooler once again, twist, not a pull. To the right, you'll find your powered equipment rack. This is a master on-off switch and an up and down lever for that. As we move down here to the primer for the fire pump, this is a push to prime. There are also priming instructions just above. You also have in blue a water level indicator for the tank, and just beneath that you have your tank fill and recirculating line, and to the right of that is your tank to pump. Once again, for those priming instructions, at least 1,000 RPMs. Moving down, you'll find this Watrous information here regarding serial number, ratio, and also model number. You'll also find a warning label regarding pressurized caps and hazards associated with that. This is your driver's side large inlet. and just beneath that you'll find an auxiliary 2.5-inch inlet. Moving down to the bottom, you're going to find a variety of drain valves, which we'll discuss momentarily. You'll also find a side-facing emergency warning light. It's going to be a warning label regarding only trained personnel that are familiar with this operation should operate this vehicle. Also a pump drain. And once again, down at the very bottom, you'll find these levers, which are your discharge drains. At the very bottom, your pump is fully enclosed. To access underneath, there are two latches on the right and left. Once those latches have been released, this will allow that to pull outward to gain access under the pump. Moving just to the rear wheel area, you'll find once again perimeter lighting and locations to store your folding wheel chocks. Generalized view here of the side of your tanker. Let's go ahead and cover some of the components here, starting with the very first compartment just above the wheel chocks. This roll-up door offering a compartment with a shelf, and also your auto charger, which is operational when plugged into shore power. Each of the compartments have interior LED lighting. Midship, this is going to be a turn indicator marker light. Once again, just to the rear, you'll find an additional emergency warning light side facing. Your side dump, to access the side dump, you can simply grab the cross member here and pull outward to gain an extension. We'll now move to the rear section of your apparatus. You'll find the driver's side dump valve. This is a wheel style valve. On the side, once again, this is going to be the section for your powered equipment rack to lower that down to gain access to your portable water tank. This is it in its partially deployed or fully deployed position. Over at the very top of the vehicle, you'll find side-facing floodlights. In the rear section, you'll find 360-degree emergency light in addition with marker lights. Rear section of the vehicle, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the components, which we already kind of covered some, but let's get into the more details. Underneath, rear, backup, and perimeter lighting. As we look, you'll find your brake, turn, and reverse, and also emergency warning light above those. You'll find your hose bed light switch for on-off in addition with warning labels regarding entanglement and fall hazard. This is going to be the driver's side rear dump, and also you can see the attachment point here on the left and right. This is for tow hooks or attachment points. Passenger side dump also is located here. It's a wheel style. In each of the corners, you'll find additional storage locations for drafting hoses. Moving to the passenger side of the vehicle, just above the handle, you'll find an additional access door. This is the right side or passenger side, and this is going to be an additional hose storage location for rigid hose. Also located here is going to be your large diameter tank fill. You'll also find the latching mechanism for your rear dump. In the center, you'll find your tank vision, floodlights, in addition with scene lights. On the very top, additional scene lights and also the fill location for your tank. This is going to be located rear section on the driver's side. Once accessed inside, this can be used for top fill. You also have work lights in this area near the top of the apparatus. As we move forward in between the grub area, you'll find an additional access door to gain access to your components. Generalized side view of the apparatus. Let's break down some of the components within this area. You'll also find that you have 24-foot and 14-foot ladder storage locations and also a 10-foot folding ladder. Moving just to the rear of the rear wheels, you'll find the passenger side rear dump. Same mechanism for extending that chute. Located in the center, you'll find bottle storage for SCBA. Moving down just to the very front, you'll find extremely hot temperatures with exhaust, and that's why this warning label is here. Be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. We're going to go ahead and talk about the components behind this roll-up compartment door next. As you can see, you're outfitted with 2 locations for bottle storage or SCBAs. Looking up once again, near the logo, you'll find a side-facing water indicator for your tank. Generalized view here of the side section of your pump panel. We'll talk about some of the components here. As you do on the opposite side, you have 2 cross lays in addition with that top-mounted light. Same configuration for the operation of your light. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the components here. You do have an access door. Inside the access door, once we gain entry into it, you have access to the pump area. Also located in this compartment, there is a push-on, push-off light. And then as you can see here, you also have the ability to dial in your relief valve. As we look to the very top section, you'll see offside large diameter intake. .2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. As we move further down, you'll find your drains for all of those cross lays, in addition with an emergency light. Underneath the same access panel as the driver's side for accessing under the pump. We're now in the driver's section. As we open the door, you'll find additional warning and hazard labels in this area. Please familiarize yourself with those labels. Looking inside the cab, we'll find on the door itself your mirror control. Just forward of that mirror control, you'll find an additional placard regarding the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating of your vehicle. As we look inside, you can find 2 levers for comfort on the side of the seat. Let's focus now just beneath that. You'll find the quarter-turn battery switch. This is your master battery switch for your apparatus. Moving up also, you'll find when plugged into shore power, this activates for your auto charger. And then you'll find this Pierce label regarding your manufacturer date, job number. You'll also find additional information here regarding gross vehicle weight ratings, tire, rim inflation, VIN number, and also all of the fluid capacities types for all of your devices. Generalized view here, top from the driver's side, looking at the steering wheel. Talk on the left-hand side, you can find your indicator for your battery. Also the next console over, house all your lighting for your headlights and running lights. Generalized view here of the dash. On the left-hand side, we'll start with the transmission temp, oil, DEF level, and water temps. Also located in the large cylinder, you'll find your tachometer. Moving to the right, you'll find in the large gauge, you're going to find your miles per hour speedometer. Starting down at the lower bottom, you'll find your air brakes for front and rear, and you'll also find the fuel and volts. Moving to the right, you'll find your transmission pad. Moving up, we'll talk about some of the components within this area. First, starting on the right-hand side of the steering column is your parked regen and inhibit regen. Also located the ignition on the very far right-hand side, as you can see here. Moving now back to that center console, generalized view here, upper left-hand corner, you're going to find your climate control. You'll find fan control, temperature control, and then how you'd like those products delivered. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, you'll find your siren electronic horn. high idle indicator, okay to engage the high idle, your PTO, which is a protected orange, okay to pump, pump engaged. Those are all indicators on the green. Down in the lower section, you'll find your brake retarder for on off, the positions for 1, 2, and 3, your enable for off-road, your lock for your PDL, also the differential lock, and also your perimeter lighting. Generalized view here, once again, we'll start in that upper left-hand corner. We'll talk about some of these. Emergency master, upper warning, lower warnings. You all have red indicators here for low volts, door open, and if you have your tank rack down. Moving down to the bottom section here, we'll start with the lower left. This is going to be your left scene on, right scene, rear scene, left and right flood, and also your rear flood. Just beneath this set of switches is where you'll find your parking brake. It is going to be in yellow. It is the pull to apply, push to release. Filter minder is located in the upper right hand corner. You'll also find 12 volt access and a diagnostic port. Located just above that, you're going to find the Pierce indication here. This is indicating for seatbelt usage. Red indicating someone is in the seat, although they are not belted. Green indicating that they are in the seat and they are belted. Looking overhead from the operator's perspective, you'll find a push-on center light and also convenient storage, but you'll also find this red indicator light if you have a compartment ajar. Over the visor, you'll find your DPF and DEF instructions. Looking more toward the center of the apparatus, you'll find your PA system, and you'll also find additional storage locations for map books, etc. Once again, on the passenger door, you'll find those labels regarding seatbelt usages and hazards. On the floor of the passenger, you'll find an electronic siren switch, and overhead, you'll find a pull-down visor in addition with storage, and once again, that red indicator for a door ajar. Generalized view here looking into the cab, and then once again, looking overhead in the cab with the visor down. Congratulations, Skagway, Alaska, on your new apparatus. If you have any questions as to the content of this video, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you, and once again, congratulations.